because I have two questions. The first one is, could you comment on the TV series if you like it? And did you visit the set by any chance? Did you have any influence on what was happening film-wise, series-wise? And my second question is about, I hear that the TV audience doesn't particularly like the fact that you kill off the main character in the first book. And I'm just wondering if you have any comment on that.
Okay, well, two questions. First of all, I love the TV series. Of course, I have quibbles with it, but you know, they're just that, they're quibbles. Overwhelmingly, I think David and Dan are doing a fantastic job, and so is everyone concerned. It's an amazing series. The acting is incredible. We have one of the best casts ever assembled for a television series, I think. I have visited the set on two occasions. Of course, I'm back in New Mexico writing the books, so even though there's part of me that would like to be part of this series, the way I was part of Beauty and the Beast and Twilight Zone back in my own television days, and be there every day and be part of the show, I can't do that and write the books at the same time. But during the shooting of the pilot, I visited the set in Belfast, Northern Ireland, for about a week, and then I went down and spent another week, 10 days in Morocco, where we were shooting. And then a year later, when we had gotten the pickup for the first season, I once again returned to Belfast for about a week and visited that set, and this time I went on to Malta, where we were shooting. So I've spent, in the last 2 years altogether, I've probably spent about a month on the set when you add all those visits together. And I am involved from afar. I participate in discussions with Dan and Dave regularly. All the casting stuff, the actors are all recorded these days as they do their auditions, and I see the tapes and weigh in with my opinions about, you know, who I like and who I don't like. I don't have any sort of veto power or anything like that, but I'm one voice among many other voices, and I do feel I'm part of the process. As for your second question, the development in Book 9, yes, as I mentioned, I think last night at the press conference, there's two audiences for this TV show. There's the original audience that's been following the books. The first book came out in 1996, and I guess the first Polish edition came out in 1998. So there are people all over the world, and including here in Poland, who have been following the books for more than a decade. And they're watching the series with one set of eyes, and I think their eyes filter through the books, and they're judging the scenes of how well does this fit my conception of what I expected reading the series. And then there's a whole new audience, which is the people who've never heard of the books, or maybe have heard of them but never read them. Or maybe they don't read books at all. Maybe they're just TV viewers, and they're encountering the books for the first time. And what happened last week when we ran episode 9, Baylor, was a bit what happened in 1996 when the first book came out and people reacted to that book. The second audience got the same shock that the first audience had gotten in 1996. The difference is, of course, in 1996, the internet was still in its infancy, so we didn't have to deal with things like Twitter exploding or people going crazy on Facebook or on various blogs and so forth. And this is a new age, so everything like that is magnified by the lens of the social media and the internet. That being said, I think it's a small minority who are upset. I mean, people should be upset. I want them to be upset. This is a character who you should have, if I did my job, and I think I did, and if David and Dan did their job, and I know they did, and Sean Bean certainly did his job, you're invested in this character. You like this character. Maybe some of you love this character, and now this character is gone. You should be feeling grief. You know, I want to kick you in the balls. I want you to feel like, you know, your best friend just died, your father just died, your brother just died. if fiction doesn't provoke that sort of emotional reaction, it's not working. And so, in that sense, I think it's good. Now, obviously, I don't like it when I hear people are saying, well, they're never going to watch the show again. Well, you know, that's obviously their choice. But I think for every one person who's saying that, we're getting 100 people who are saying, that was great, man. I've never been affected, you know. I was, you know, moved to tears, and I'm telling my friends, and hopefully we'll get a new audience for that. But I really don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to find out. As those of you who know my background knows, I was on, for 3 years in Hollywood, I was on a show called Beauty and the Beast, which some of you may remember, starred Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton, and it was on the CBS network from through the late 80s, basically. And at the end of the second season, Linda Hamilton, who played Catherine Chandler, the beauty in Beauty and the Beast, left the show. And we, the writers, were faced with a decision there. Do we recast the character with a new actress, or do we kill the character in the show and bring in a new character? And we chose the second option because we thought it offered more dramatic potential. So the beauty in Beauty and the Beast was killed, and we brought in a new character played by a wonderful actress named Joe Anderson, as a police detective investigating the death of Linda's character. And artistically, it worked very well. I think we did some great stuff there in the third season. But it did not work well in terms of the popularity of the show. Our ratings plummeted after Linda left the show and we brought it in. And, you know, looking back on it now, you know, maybe we made the wrong decision, maybe we should recast. Essentially, you know, it was a love story, and we were saying for 2 years, we were telling the audience, it's Romeo and Juliet, it's Romeo and Juliet, it's Romeo and Juliet. And then at the end of the third season, we said, Juliet? Did we say Juliet? Forget Juliet. It's Romeo and Harriet. And, you know, they did not accept that. Now, will our HBO series viewers, will they accept what's happened in the show? I hope they will. It's not a love story. It's, you know, and the book audience has certainly accepted it. I mean, the books are bigger and bigger every year, and more people are following it. But, you know, we all live and learn, and, you know, we will know a year from now or 2 years from now what effect this had, and I'm sure people who study television will be debating the wisdom of what we did for a long time. That being said, if HBO had changed that so that the character of Ned did not die, they would have lost the first audience. When I talk about two audiences, the book audience who had been following the show religiously from the beginning would have turned on them angrily and said, how could you change such a basic thing? I mean, there are certain things in fiction that you know, can't be messed with. You know, Gatsby cannot get the girl and go off at the end to live happily ever after, and so forth and so on.